The harbor town wakes slowly under December rain. Wooden docks creak beneath careful footsteps. Sea mist clings to every surface, turning the morning into something ghostly and half-remembered. The smell of salt and wet wood fills the air, mixing with the distant scent of fishing boats and human coffee. Deborah Voss pulls her worn shawl tighter around her shoulders. Her body moves differently now, slower, heavier. Every step requires thought, balance, calculation. The belly beneath her layered clothes has grown impossible to hide, round and firm and undeniable. Rain beads on her lashes like tears she refuses to shed anymore. She used to cry. 10 months ago, she cried until her throat burned and her wolf went silent inside her chest. 10 months ago, she stumbled through moonlit forests with blood on her feet and shame burning through every nerve. 10 months ago, she was someone else entirely. Now she's just a woman trying to survive. The apothecary sits at the end of Harbor Road, sandwiched between a fishmonger's stall and a tailor's shop that never seems to open. Smoke curls from the chimney. Warm light glows through fogged windows. Deborah climbs the 3 wooden steps to the door, one hand braced against the railing, the other resting on her stomach. 3 pulses answer her touch, soft, steady, undeniable. She closes her eyes for just a moment, letting the rain wash over her face. 3. The door swings open before she can knock. There you are. Mabel stands in the doorway, flour dusting her apron, concern written across her weathered face. Come inside before you catch your death. Deborah steps into warmth and the smell of baking bread. The apothecary is cluttered in the best way, dried herbs hanging from ceiling beams, jars of powders and tinctures lining every shelf. A fat orange cat sleeping on the counter. Pamela looks up from grinding something in a mortar, her expression softening. Sit down, child, Pamela says gently. You look exhausted. Deborah lowers herself into the chair by the fireplace. Her muscles ache, her feet throb. Her wolf stirs restlessly beneath her skin, anxious in ways that make her chest tight. Mabel sets a cup of herbal tea in front of her. You were out walking again. I needed air. You need rest. Pamela wipes her hands on a cloth, studying Deborah with the sharp eyes of someone who's delivered babies for 40 years. How are you feeling today? Tired. Pain? Just pressure. Nothing sharp. Pamela nods slowly, but her gaze lingers on Deborah's stomach. Lyra will want to check on you later. Deborah sips the tea. It tastes of chamomile and something earthier, something meant to calm both human and wolf. Outside, thunder rolls across the harbor, low and threatening. She used to love storms. 10 months ago, she would stand at the palace windows and watch lightning fork across the Varen territories. 10 months ago, she felt safe behind stone walls and iron gates. 10 months ago, she believed the promises whispered against her skin in the dark. I'll always protect you. Darian's voice, low and rough with sleep, his fingers tracing patterns on her hip. Whatever happens, you're mine. His mouth against her throat, breath hot, words spoken like vows. I shouldn't want you this much. His forehead pressed to hers, eyes closed. The king stripped down to just a man who couldn't stop touching her. The memory burns. Deborah sets down her cup with trembling hands. Deborah? Mabel's voice cuts through the fog. Are you all right? Yes. Sorry, just tired. The lie tastes bitter. She's not all right. She hasn't been all right since the night Darian Voss stood in the throne hall of Frostkeep Citadel and spoke words that shattered her world. This Omega is unsuitable as Luna. His voice echoed off marble pillars and ancient tapestries, cold, formal, final. For the good of the kingdom, I will bind myself to Aveline Mora of the Veil line. The court watched her face crack open. They smelled her grief, her humiliation, her disbelief. Alphas like Ronan Drax and Lucien Thorne looked away, uncomfortable. Advisors like Eldon Grey and Selric Thorne kept their expressions neutral. Servants like Nicole and Glenda whispered behind their hands, and Darian never looked at her. Not once, not even when she fled the hall with her wolf screaming inside her chest. Deborah closes her eyes now, forcing the memory down where it can't touch her. She's learned to do this. She's learned to lock away the night before, the rejection, the firelight, the warmth, the way he kissed her like she was air, and he was drowning. She's learned to survive. The door to the apothecary opens, bringing a gust of cold wind and rain. Saphira Dune steps inside, shaking water from her dark cloak. Her eyes are storm gray and too knowing, her movements graceful in ways that hint at something other than human or wolf. Storm's getting worse, Saphira says quietly, her gaze sliding to Deborah. The sea is restless. The sea is always restless, Pamela mutters, but there's tension in her shoulders. Saphira moves closer, studying Deborah with an intensity that makes her skin prickle. "How are you feeling? How are you feeling?" "Everyone keeps asking me that. Because everyone can see you're carrying something precious." Saphira's voice drops lower. "And dangerous." Deborah's hand moves instinctively to her stomach. "I'm fine. You're exhausted. You're frightened. And you're running out of time." The words hit like stones. Mabel makes a sharp sound. "Saphira, she needs to hear the truth." Saphira doesn't look away from Deborah. "Someone was asking questions at the docks yesterday. A man, big, dark-haired, wolf eyes." Deborah's blood turns cold. "What kind of questions?" "The kind that suggest he's looking for someone specific. A woman, alone, pregnant." The room goes silent except for the crackle of the fire. Deborah's wolf snarls inside her chest, protective and terrified in equal measure. She knew this day would come. She knew hiding forever was impossible, but hearing it spoken aloud makes it real in ways that steal her breath. "Did he find anything?" Her voice sounds steadier than she feels. "Not yet, but he will." Saphira's expression softens slightly. "The sea brings change, Deborah. Whether you're ready or not." Thunder crashes overhead, rattling the windows. Somewhere in the distance, a wolf howls. Deborah's heart kicks against her ribs. That howl is too close, too deliberate, too searching. Her wolf recognizes the cadence of it pack communication, signal patterns, the language of hunters coordinating. They're looking for someone. They're looking for her. "I need to leave," Deborah whispers. "You can't travel in your condition," Pamela says firmly. "Not in this storm. I can't stay here if they're coming." "Where would you go?" Mabel's voice is gentle but uncompromising. "You're 8 months along with..." She stops. The room goes very still. Deborah realizes her mistake a heartbeat too late. She's been so careful, so guarded, keeping the full truth even from these women who've sheltered her. But exhaustion makes you careless. Fear makes you slip. Saphira tilts her head, eyes narrowing. "With what, Deborah?" Another howl echoes across the harbor. Closer this time. Deborah's hands shake as she pushes herself to her feet. Her body protests, heavy and unwieldy and vulnerable. She needs to move. She needs to run. She needs to protect what she's carrying before. A sharp knock at the door freezes everyone in place. Lyra Quinn's voice calls from outside. "It's me. Let me in." Mabel hurries to unlock the door. Lyra steps inside, her midwife's bag clutched in one hand, rain streaming from her coat. She's calm and steady as always, but there's urgency in her movements. "Deborah," she says immediately. "I need to examine you. Now." "Lyra, what's wrong?" "You're sent." Lyra sets down her bag, already pulling out supplies. "It's changing. The masking herbs are wearing off faster than they should. If there are wolves nearby, they'll smell you within hours." The room spins. Deborah sinks back into the chair, her heart hammering. 8 months of hiding. 8 months of careful planning. 8 months of staying invisible, all unraveling in a single night. Lyra kneels beside her, pressing gentle fingers to Deborah's wrist. "I need to check the pup. Make sure everything's..." She stops mid-sentence. Her fingers go still on Deborah's pulse point. Her eyes widen fractionally, and she presses her other hand flat against Deborah's belly. Deborah watches her face change. From professional calm to confusion to stunned realization. "Deborah." Lyra's voice is barely a whisper. "How far along did you say you were?" 32 weeks. Lyra's hands move across her stomach, pressing carefully, feeling for position and size, and she goes completely still. The silence stretches like pulled wire. "What is it?" Saphira moves closer. "Lyra, what's wrong?" Lyra lifts her head slowly. Her eyes meet Deborah's, and there's something like awe mixed with concern written across her face. "Deborah," she says quietly, carefully, as if speaking too loud might shatter reality. "This isn't one pup. The world narrows to a single point." "What?" Lyra's hands remain on her stomach, fingers splayed across the swell. "There are 3 heartbeats. The words don't make sense at first. 3. 3? That's not..." Deborah's voice cracks. "That's not possible. I can feel them." Lyra's expression is steady, certain. 3 distinct patterns, 3 separate movements. "Deborah, you're carrying triplets." The room tilts. Deborah's wolf surges inside her chest, howling with something that might be fear or might be fierce, protective joy. Her hands fly to her stomach, and there beneath her palms she feels it. 3 pulses, 3 tiny lives, 3 futures curled inside her body. The memory slams into her with brutal force. Darian's hands on her hips, his mouth against her ear, voice rough with need and something deeper. I want this. I want you. I want... He never finished that sentence. He never had to. His body said everything his words couldn't. And now, oh gods. Deborah's breath comes in short gasps. Oh gods, what am I going to do? Mabel and Pamela exchange shocked glances. Saphira's expression goes very still, very grave. Triplets, Saphira murmurs. Born to an Alpha King's mate. That hasn't happened in generations, Lyra finishes quietly. Maybe longer. What does that mean? Deborah's voice sounds small and frightened even to her own ears. Saphira kneels beside her chair, taking her hand. It means you're carrying something rare, something powerful, something that makes you more valuable and more dangerous than you could possibly imagine. It means, Lyra says gently, that if the wrong people find out, they'll kill you to get to them. Or they'll kill them to hurt him. Outside, thunder shakes the building. Inside, Deborah's world cracks open all over again. 3 heartbeats where there should be one. 3 heirs to a throne that rejected their mother. 3 reasons why running might not be enough anymore. She looks down at her stomach, at the impossible truth growing beneath her skin, and feels the weight of it settle over her like armor or a cage she can't tell which. All she knows is this. 10 months ago, Darian Voss destroyed her in front of his entire kingdom. Tonight, she's carrying the 3 most dangerous secrets his bloodline has ever created. And somewhere out in that storm, wolves are hunting. Hey, quick question. How are you feeling right now? Thank you so much for being here. It really means the world to me. If Deborah's story of survival, heartbreak, and carrying the most dangerous secret in the kingdom is touching your heart, please hit that subscribe button for Ariel Romance Library. Smash the like, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. It helps more than you know. Alright, thank you. Now let's get back to what happens when the rejected Omega the Alpha King tried to forget becomes the mother of 3 heirs who will change everything. Candles flicker across maps of territories Darian Voss no longer fully controls. The war room of Frostkeep Citadel smells of melting wax and old leather and something sharper tension thick enough to taste. Rain hammers against stone walls. Wind howls through archers' slits. The storm outside mirrors the chaos inside these walls, and everyone in this room knows it. Darian leans over the table, studying patrol routes and border markers and reports of raids that shouldn't be happening. His jaw is tight. His eyes are shadowed from too many sleepless nights. His wolf prowls just beneath his skin, snarling at everything and everyone. 3 more farms burned in the Western Territory. Ronan Draven's voice is flat, reporting facts that feel like failures. Nikolai Drax's pack hit them before dawn, took livestock, supplies, and left 2 families homeless. Survivors? Darian's voice sounds rougher than it should. 5. The rest fled south. Cassian Rook marks the location on the map with a black pin. That makes 14 raids this month. They're testing our response time. They're testing more than that. Lucien Coren crosses his arms, expression grim. They're testing whether you still have control. The words hang in the air like an accusation. Darian's fingers curl against the table edge. His wolf surges, hackles raised, teeth bared. For a moment, just a flicker, his eyes flash gold. Everyone in the room goes still. Careful, Lucien. Darian's voice drops to something dangerous. I'm still your king. Are you? Lucien doesn't flinch. Because from where I'm standing, the kingdom is bleeding and you're too distracted to stop it. Darian moves before conscious thought. One moment he's across the table. The next his hand is wrapped around Lucien's throat, slamming him back against the stone wall. The sound of impact echoes through the chamber. Say that again, Darian growls, and his wolf is right there in his voice, feral, unstable, barely leashed. Say it and see what happens. Lucien's hands come up, but he doesn't fight. He just meets Darian's gaze steadily, even as his pulse hammers beneath Darian's palm. Your Majesty. Elden Grey's voice cuts through the moment, calm and commanding. Release him. Darian's chest heaves. His vision swims with gold and rage and something that feels horribly close to desperation. His wolf wants blood, wants dominance, wants to prove that he's still strong, still capable, still worthy of. He drops Lucien and steps back. The room exhales collectively. Lucien rubs his throat, expression unreadable. My point stands. Your point is noted. Darian turns back to the table, forcing his breathing to even out. What else? Selric Thorn clears his throat carefully. The Vale alliance is strained. Elaborate. Lord Ronan Vale sent a messenger yesterday. He's questioning the benefits of the arrangement. The arrangement keeps his borders secure. In theory. In practice, raids are hitting Vale lands as hard as Varen holdings. Selric exchanges a glance with Eldon. He's wondering if the marriage alliance is worth maintaining. Marriage alliance. The words taste like ash. Darian stares at the map, seeing nothing. His wolf snarls inside his chest, rejecting everything about the bond that won't complete. The intimacy that feels like broken glass. The woman who shares his title but not his heart. The door to the war room opens without ceremony. Aveline Mora steps inside, her presence immediate and cold. She moves with calculated grace, her silk gown the color of winter frost, her dark hair swept into an elaborate style that probably took an hour. She's beautiful in the way ice sculptures are beautiful, perfect, untouchable, lifeless. Gentlemen. Her voice is smooth. I hope I'm not interrupting. We're in the middle of a strategy session, Darian says without looking at her. I can see that. I thought my insight might be valuable. Your insight isn't needed right now. Aveline's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Of course. How foolish of me to think my opinion mattered in decisions affecting our kingdom. Our kingdom. The possessive makes Darian's teeth clench. Ronan Draven shifts uncomfortably. Cassian Rook suddenly finds the map fascinating. Eldon Grey maintains his neutral mask, but there's sympathy in his eyes that Darian hates. Aveline. Darian straightens, finally looking at her. What do you want? A moment of your time. Privately. I'm busy. You're always busy. Her voice sharpens. When exactly do you plan to make time for your betrothed? The room goes silent. Darian's wolf recoils from the word, from the claim, from everything about this arrangement that was supposed to save his kingdom, but feels like it's strangling him instead. Fine. He moves toward the door. 5 minutes. They step into the corridor. Torches cast flickering shadows on stone walls. The storm outside makes the ancient citadel groan and creak. Darian keeps his distance, his body angled slightly away, and he knows she notices. She always notices. You've been avoiding me, Aveline says quietly. I've been dealing with border raids and political unrest. You've been avoiding me, she repeats, firmer this time. Our wedding is in 3 months, and you can barely stand to be in the same room as me. That's not, don't lie. Her composure cracks slightly. I know you don't love me. I accepted that. This is politics, alliance, strategy. But you can't even pretend anymore. Darian's jaw works. What do you want me to say? I want you to try. Aveline steps closer, her hand rising to touch his chest. I want you to at least attempt to make this work. Her fingers press against his shirt, and Darian's entire body goes rigid. Not with desire, not with warmth, with wrongness so profound it makes his wolf howl in rejection. He catches her wrist, holding it away from him. Aveline, kiss me. What? Kiss me. Her eyes are hard and desperate in equal measure. Prove you can at least do that much. Darian's throat tightens. His wolf thrashes inside him, clawing to get away from this moment, this woman, this reality that feels like a cage he built himself. But he's a king. He made a vow. He destroyed everything else for this alliance. So he leans down and presses his mouth to hers. It's like kissing stone. Cold, hard, empty. There's no spark, no pull, no heat that makes his blood sing and his control slip. There's just duty and obligation, and the bitter taste of a mistake he can't unmake. Aveline pulls back first. Her eyes glisten, but no tears fall. You're thinking about her? I'm not. You are. Her voice breaks slightly. Even now, even after everything, you're thinking about that Omega. The name goes unspoken, but it fills the corridor anyway. Deborah. Darian's chest aches. His wolf whimpers, a sound he's never allowed it to make before. Because Aveline is right. He is thinking about her. He's always thinking about her. 10 months and the memory of her is still sharper than anything in his present. The way she smiled when she thought no one was watching. The way she curled into his side when she slept, like she belonged there. The way she said his name, not, Your Majesty, or My King. Just Darian in a voice that made him feel human. He remembers the last night. Firelight painting gold across her skin, his hands in her hair, on her waist, tracing every curve like he was trying to memorize her. Her breath hitching when he kissed her throat, her fingers digging into his shoulders when he, Go back to your war council, Aveline says tiredly. I won't bother you again tonight. She walks away before he can respond, her footsteps echoing down the empty corridor. Darian stands there, alone, his fists clenched at his sides. His wolf is tearing him apart from the inside. It's been getting worse, this restlessness, this rage, this feeling of something vital being severed. He thought rejecting the mate bond would be painful but survivable. He was wrong. Every day he feels it unraveling his control, his instincts, his ability to sense threats and read his pack. The bond he tried to sever refuses to die. It just bleeds endlessly, draining him in ways no one else can see. Footsteps approach from behind. Sire. A young guard appears, breathless and soaked from the rain. There's someone here, a scout from the Eastern Patrol. He says it's urgent. Send him to the war room. He says it's private, for your ears only. Darian's instincts prickle. Bring him to my study. Minutes later, Darian stands in the dim quiet of his private study, watching a half-frozen scout kneel on the carpet. The man is shaking from cold or fear. It's hard to tell. Water drips from his cloak, leaving dark stains on the floor. Speak, Darian says. The scout swallows hard. Your Majesty, I was sent to patrol the human territories along the coast. 3 days ago, I stopped at a tavern near the harbor. There was a woman there. Darian's chest tightens. And she asked if I knew how to reach Frostkeep. Said she had a message for the Alpha King. What message? The scout's hands tremble. She didn't give her name, but she was Omega, pregnant. And she said, he stops, looking terrified. She said, what? Darian's voice drops to something barely human. The scout meets his eyes, and what Darian sees there is equal parts awe and horror. She said, tell him the triplets are his. The world stops. Sound cuts out. Time stretches like taffy. Darian's wolf explodes inside him, roaring with something that might be rage or might be desperate. Terrified hope. What did you say? His voice sounds distant, like it's coming from underwater. She said the triplets are yours, Your Majesty. Triplets. Yes, sire. She said triplets. She did. Darian's hands shake. His vision swims. Every nerve in his body lights on fire, and his wolf is howling not in pain, but in recognition. Because somewhere deep in his bones, beneath the rejection and the politics and the lies he told himself, he knows. He knows that scent the scout carried back. He knows that heartbeat pattern beneath foreign smells. He knows her. Where is she? The words rip out of him like a growl. I don't know. She left the tavern before I could. Find her. Darian grabs the scout by his collar, hauling him to his feet. Send every wolf we have. Search every harbor town, every fishing village, every God's damned human settlement on the coast. Find her. Yes, Your Majesty. And tell no one about this message. No one. Do you understand? I understand. Darian releases him, and the scout flees. Alone, Darian stands in the silence of his study, his heart hammering against his ribs. Triplets. 3 pups. 3 heirs. The memory crashes over him with brutal clarity. Deborah beneath him, her body warm and willing, her hands in his hair as she whispered his name like a prayer. The way she looked at him afterward, curled against his chest, fingers tracing idle patterns on his skin. What are you thinking? She'd asked softly. That I want this, he'd answered, the words pulled from somewhere deeper than thought. I want you. I want. He'd stopped himself, because wanting wasn't enough, because kingdoms required sacrifices, because he was a king before he was a man, and she was Omega, and the world didn't care about what he wanted, so he'd held her through the night and broken her the next morning. And now she's carrying his children, 3 of them. Darian moves to the window, staring out at the storm. Lightning forks across the sky, illuminating the Varen territories in flashes of white. Rain sheets down in curtains. Somewhere out there, Deborah is hiding. Somewhere out there, his mate, his rejected, abandoned, broken mate, is pregnant with triplets that will rewrite every political calculation, every alliance, every assumption about his bloodline. Somewhere out there, she's vulnerable. His wolf snarls, clawing at his insides. Every instinct he's suppressed for 10 months roars to life. The bond he tried to sever snaps tight like a rope pulled taut, and he feels it faint but unmistakable, the pull toward her. She's still alive. She's still his. And she's in danger. Darian's hand closes into a fist against the cold glass. I'm coming, he whispers to the storm. I'm coming. And God's help anyone who touches you before I get there. Behind him, the study door opens. Eldon Grey steps inside, concern written across his face. Your Majesty, what's happened? Darian doesn't turn around. Send word to Merrick Voss and Cassian Rook. I need to speak with them. Privately. Tonight. About what? About finding someone I should never have let go. His reflection stares back at him from the rain-streaked glass. A king who looks haunted, desperate, half feral with need. For the first time in 10 months, Darian Voss lets himself feel the full weight of his mistake, and it nearly brings him to his knees. The room above the apothecary is small and warm and safe. It should feel like a refuge. Instead, it feels like a trap. Deborah sits on the edge of the narrow bed, hands pressed flat against her stomach, feeling the 3 distinct patterns of movement beneath her palms. Rain drums against the single window. Wind rattles the shutters. Below, she can hear Mabel and Pamela moving around the shop, their voices low and worried. 3 heartbeats. The truth hasn't fully settled yet. It keeps hitting her in waves: disbelief, terror, awe, and something that feels dangerously close to fierce, protective love. 3 pups. Lyra Quinn sits beside her, medical bag open on the floor, expression gentle but serious. "How are you feeling?" "I don't know what I'm feeling." "That's understandable." Deborah's laugh sounds brittle. "Is it? Because I feel like I'm losing my mind." "You're in shock." "That's normal." Lyra touches her shoulder carefully. "But we need to talk about what happens next." "What happens next is I run again." "Where?" "Anywhere. Somewhere farther, somewhere safer." "Deborah." Lyra's voice is patient. "There is nowhere safe. Not anymore." The words hit like stones. Because Lyra is right. Deborah has been running for 10 months, staying one step ahead of questions and rumors and the occasional wolf who got too close. She's lived on borrowed time and false names and the kindness of women like Mabel and Pamela who didn't ask too many questions. But carrying 1 pup was manageable. 3 changes everything. 3 is a miracle. 3 is a threat. 3 is the kind of omen that makes kingdoms go to war. "I need to think," Deborah whispers. "You need to rest." Lyra stands, gathering her supplies. "I'll come back tomorrow, try to sleep." But sleep doesn't come. Deborah lies in the dark, listening to rain and wind and distant howls, her hands never leaving her stomach. The triplets move beneath her, touch tiny, insistent, alive. Each pulse feels like a promise and a burden all at once. She closes her eyes and the memories come whether she wants them or not. 10 months ago, the night before everything shattered, she was in Darian's private chambers, a place she'd been invited more and more frequently over the past months. Firelight painted everything gold and warm. He dismissed his guards, locked the door, and pulled her into his arms like he'd been waiting all day to touch her. "You shouldn't be here," he'd murmured against her hair. "You asked me to come." "I know, I shouldn't have." But his hands were already moving, sliding down her back, pulling her closer. And she'd gone willingly because being in his arms felt right in ways she couldn't explain and didn't want to question. They'd kissed slowly at first, soft, exploring, like they had all the time in the world. Then his control slipped. His hands grew urgent. His mouth moved from her lips to her throat, to her collarbone. His breath came rough and ragged. And when he looked at her, his eyes were molten gold. "Tell me to stop," he'd said, voice racked. "I don't want you to stop." So he didn't. He'd laid her down on his bed, the Alpha King's bed, and touched her like she was something precious and profane all at once. He'd learned every sound she made, every place that made her breath hitch, every way to make her forget she was just an omega in a court that would never accept her. Afterward, he'd held her close. His hand splayed across her stomach as if already protecting something that didn't exist yet. "What are you thinking?" she'd whispered. "That I want this." His voice was rough and honest and terrifying. "I want you. I want..." He'd stopped himself, jaw clenching. "Want what?" she'd prompted gently. "Everything I can't have." Deborah's eyes snap open, tears burning hot down her temples. She'd thought he meant it. She'd thought that night changed something. She'd thought gods. She'd been so stupid that maybe love mattered more than politics. The next morning, he stood in front of his entire court and called her unsuitable. The next morning, he announced his engagement to Aveline Mora without ever meeting Deborah's eyes. The next morning, he proved that everything whispered in the dark meant nothing in the light. A soft knock pulls her from the spiral. "Come in," she calls, voice rough. Saphira Dune steps inside, carrying a tray with tea and bread. Her storm gray eyes assess Deborah with that unsettling knowing look she always has. "You're not sleeping," Saphira observes. "Can't." Understandable. Saphira sets the tray on the small table by the bed. "Lyra told me about the triplets." Deborah's hands tighten protectively over her stomach. And you need to hear some things you're not going to like. Everyone keeps saying that." Saphira sits in the chair by the window, her expression serious. Triplets born to an Alpha King's bloodline haven't occurred in over 2 centuries. The last time it happened, it sparked a civil war. Deborah's blood runs cold. What? 3 heirs. 3 claims to power. 3 potential alphas fighting for 1 throne. Saphira's voice is steady, factual. The kingdom tore itself apart before the pups were even weaned. These are just babies. They're never just babies. Not when you're carrying the future of the Varen territories inside you. Deborah's chest tightens. What are you saying? I'm saying that the moment word gets out, and it will get out, you become the most valuable and most dangerous person in this region. Allies will want to protect you to secure their claim to those pups. Enemies will want to kill you to prevent anyone else from having them. The room feels too small suddenly. There are old prophecies, Saphira continues quietly. About storm-touched omegas, about bloodlines that carry triple heirs, about children born to rejected mates during celestial alignments. Prophecies aren't real, aren't they? Saphira's smile is sad. You felt 3 heartbeats when there should be 1. You survived a rejection that should have killed you. You're hiding in a harbor town during the worst storm season in 50 years. Tell me fate isn't watching. Deborah wants to argue, but the words die in her throat. Because maybe Saphira is right. Maybe something bigger than politics and pain is at work here. Maybe she's carrying more than just Darian's children. Maybe she's carrying something that will reshape everything. The thought terrifies her. What do I do? Deborah whispers. You survive. Saphira stands, moving to the window. And you decide what kind of mother you want to be. What does that mean? It means you have choices, Deborah. You can keep running and hope no one ever finds you. You can find allies who'll help protect you. Or... She pauses, looking back over her shoulder. You can face the man who did this to you and demand he fix it. Darian's face flashes through Deborah's mind. Those golden eyes, that hard jaw, that voice that once whispered promises and then spoke cruelties. I never want to see him again, she says fiercely. That might not be your choice to make. Saphira's expression is sympathetic. The bond is still there, isn't it? You feel it. Deborah doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. The truth is written in the way her hand unconsciously moves to her chest, to the place where phantom pain flares every time storms roll in. The rejection should have severed everything. Instead, it just left raw edges that never fully heal. She still feels him sometimes, in dreams, in quiet moments, in the space between heartbeats. She hates it. She hates him. She hates that part of her deep, traitorous, undeniable, still wants him, with a ferocity that makes her ashamed. Get some rest, Saphira says gently. Tomorrow we'll figure out next steps. After she leaves, Deborah lies in the dark, feeling the triplets move beneath her hands. I won't let anyone hurt you, she whispers to them. I don't care who comes. I don't care what prophecies say. You're mine, and I'll keep you safe. The words feel like a vow. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rolls, and Deborah falls into uneasy sleep, dreaming of golden eyes and impossible choices, and 3 tiny faces she hasn't met yet but would die protecting. The war room has never felt so suffocating. Darian stands at the head of the table, hands braced on scarred wood, staring at maps he can't actually see anymore. His vision keeps blurring. His chest feels like someone's crushing it from the inside. His wolf is thrashing so violently he can barely think straight. Triplets. His. Deborah's. The words loop through his mind on endless repeat, each cycle tightening the vice around his heart. He hasn't told anyone yet. He called this meeting under the pretense of discussing border security. But the advisors and alphas seated around the table can sense something's wrong. They keep exchanging glances. Kael Draven shifts uncomfortably. Saren Vale grips her pen too tightly. Even Cassian Rook, usually unflappable, looks concerned. Your Majesty, Eldon Grey says carefully. Perhaps we should postpone this session. You seem... The door slams open. The scout from earlier stumbles in, terror written across his face. Forgive me, Your Majesty, but there's been a development. Darian's head snaps up. What development? The woman. The one I told you about. The scout's voice shakes. I went back to the tavern, asked more questions. Someone gave me information. Every wolf in the room goes alert. Information about what? Ronan Draven demands. The scout's eyes dart between them, realizing too late that he's just revealed something meant to be private. Your Majesty, I thought. Just say it, Darian growls. The scout kneels, head bowed. There's a woman hiding in a harbor town called Greyhaven, pregnant, alone. Omega. The description matches what you told me to search for. The room erupts. What is he talking about? Cassian stands. What woman? Why are we searching for a pregnant Omega? Kaya Rowan sets down her pen. Your Majesty, what's going on? Darian's control fractures. He should lie. He should deflect. He should maintain the careful facade he's built for 10 months. Instead, he says, 10 months ago, I rejected my fated mate. Silence crashes down like a physical weight. You what? Lucienne Corin sounds genuinely shocked. The Omega in the palace, Eldon says slowly, understanding dawning. Deborah Voss. She didn't just leave. No. Darian's voice is hollow. She fled. Because I stood in front of all of you and called her unsuitable. Kaya's hand moves to her mouth. Oh gods. And now, Darian continues, forcing the words out past the tightness in his throat. She's carrying my children. Children? Ronan Vale leans forward. As in plural, the scout speaks before Darian can. She says they're triplets, my lord. The room explodes into chaos. Multiple voices shout over each other, questions, accusations, disbelief. Someone swears viciously. Someone else demands details. The noise is overwhelming, but Darian barely hears it. All he can think about is Deborah, alone, pregnant, hiding in some harbor town because she's terrified of what his kingdom will do to her. Enough. His voice cracks like thunder, and everyone falls silent. I don't have time to explain everything. I don't have time to justify my choices. All that matters now is finding her before someone else does. Someone else? Saren's voice is sharp. Who else knows about this? I don't know, Darian admits. But if word is spreading in human taverns, it won't stay quiet for long. And when the wrong people find out that my rejected mate is carrying triplets, he doesn't finish. He doesn't have to. Every wolf in this room understands pack dynamics. They understand what 3 alpha heirs represent. They understand that Deborah just became the most valuable target in the entire region. We need to move fast, Cassian says grimly. If Nikolai Drax or Theron Cade get wind of this, they'll use her as leverage, Ronan finishes. Or worse, Darian's hands shake. His wolf is snarling, desperate to tear through the doors and run straight to her. Every instinct he's suppressed for 10 months is screaming at him to move, to hunt, to protect what's his. Mobilize search parties, he orders. Small groups, discreet. I don't want every pack in the territory knowing what we're looking for. What about Aveline? Kaya asks quietly. She's going to find out. Let her. Darian's voice is flat. The engagement is over. Your Majesty, you can't just... I said it's over. He meets Kaya's eyes, and something in his expression makes her fall silent. I rejected my mate for a political alliance that's failing anyway. I'm not compounding that mistake by abandoning the mother of my children. The words taste like truth and freedom and terror all mixed together. Prepare travel packs, Darian continues, already moving toward the door. I leave within the hour. You're going personally? Eldon stands. Darian, that's non-negotiable. He doesn't look back. She's my mate, my responsibility, his voice cracks, my everything. He doesn't say it out loud, but it hangs in the air anyway. Darian storms through the corridors of Frostkeep, his mind racing. Guards scramble out of his way. Servants press themselves against walls. Everyone can sense the Alpha King is barely holding on to his control. He reaches his chambers and starts pulling out travel gear, weapons, clothes, supplies. His hands are shaking so badly he can barely buckle his belt. Triplets. 3 pups. 3 lives he helped create and then abandoned. The memory hits him like a punch. Deborah curled against his chest, her breathing evening out into sleep, his hand resting on her flat stomach. He'd imagined it then, what it would be like if she carried his child. What it would be like to watch her belly grow. What it would be like to be a father outside of duty and bloodline, to be a father because he loved someone enough to create life with her. Then morning came and politics dragged him back to reality. He'd chosen the kingdom over her. He'd chosen alliances over love. He'd chosen wrong. A knock at his door makes him spin. What? Cassian enters, expression grave. Scouts just reported activity near Greyhaven. Wolf packs moving in from the east. Darian's blood turns to ice. Whose packs? Unknown, but they're coordinating. This isn't random patrol. They're hunting her. It looks that way. Darian's wolf explodes with rage, so violent it takes everything in him not to shift right there. How long until we can reach her? If we push hard? 6 hours. Maybe less. Make it 4. Darian grabs his coat. And Cassian. Yes? Tell the team we're going in ready for war. Because if anyone has touched her, there won't be negotiations. Cassian's expression hardens. Understood. They move through the castle at speed, gathering the small strike team wolves loyal to Darien personally, capable of moving fast and hitting hard. Merrick Voss, Taryn Holt, Era Thorne, others whose names blur together because all Darien can think about is getting to Deborah before it's too late. As they prepare to leave, a figure appears in the courtyard. Aveline. She stands in the rain, her perfect hair plastered to her skull, her expression somewhere between fury and heartbreak. "You're leaving," she says flatly. Yes, for her. Darien doesn't deny it. Yes, after everything. After you destroyed her in front of the entire court. After you promised me a kingdom. You're going to throw it all away for an Omega you rejected. She's carrying my children, so make her comfortable somewhere quiet. Give her money, give her protection. You don't have to. She's my mate, Darien interrupts, and his voice cracks on the word. I rejected her. I broke her. And now she's pregnant and terrified and hiding because of choices I made. So yes, I'm throwing it all away. Because she deserves better than what I did to her. Aveline's composure shatters. You never loved me. No. The admission is brutal but honest. I didn't. And you deserve someone who does. She stares at him for a long moment. Rain streaming down her face like tears she won't shed. I hope she's worth it. She is. Aveline turns and walks away, her shoulders rigid with wounded pride. Darien feels a pang of guilt, brief, sharp, but it's drowned beneath the overwhelming need to move, to run, to get to Deborah before the nightmare scenarios spiraling through his mind become real. He shifts. One moment he's a man, the next he's a massive black wolf, with gold eyes burning in the dark. His pack shifts around him, 8 wolves ready to follow their alpha into hell if necessary. And they run, through rain and mud and darkness, through forests and fields and human territories. The bond that Darien tried to sever pulls him forward like a compass pointing true north. It's weak, damaged, barely there, but it's enough. She's out there, she's alive, and he's coming. The storm rages around them, but Darien runs faster, his wolf's lungs burning, his paws eating up ground with desperate speed. Hold on, he thinks desperately. Just hold on. I'm coming. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, just hold on. Behind him, his pack follows, loyal and fierce. Ahead, somewhere in the storm, his mate and his unborn children wait, and Darien Voss runs toward them like his soul depends on it. Because it does. The harbor town smells like rain and fish and fear. Deborah moves through the market as quickly as her heavy body allows, pulling her hood low, keeping her eyes down. She needs supplies, herbs, food, anything that'll help her leave tonight. Staying here isn't an option anymore. Not with wolves circling closer every hour. She can feel them, not see them, not smell them exactly. But her wolf senses the pressure building, the way prey animals sense predators before they appear. The air tastes wrong. The shadows feel too deep. Every human she passes seems oblivious, but Deborah's instincts are screaming. Run, hide, protect. Deborah. She spins, heart hammering. Winnie stands there, basket in hand, concern written across her kind face. She's human, one of the few who's been genuinely helpful without asking dangerous questions. You look pale, Winnie says quietly. Are you all right? I'm fine. Just tired. You're leaving, aren't you? Deborah's throat tightens. How did you... I've seen that look before. My sister wore it when she fled an abusive husband. Winnie's voice drops lower. Where will you go? I don't know yet. Somewhere farther south. Somewhere, a howl cuts through the morning air. Close. Too close. The market stills. Humans glance around nervously. A few vendors start packing up early, their survival instincts kicking in even if they don't understand why. You need to go now, Winnie whispers urgently. Come on. She grabs Deborah's arm and pulls her toward a narrow alley between buildings. Deborah follows, her body protesting every quick movement. The triplets shift inside her, restless and anxious like they can feel her fear. They slip through back streets, avoiding main roads. Winnie knows these paths well, she's lived here all her life. They reach the apothecary through the rear entrance. Mabel looks up sharply as they burst in. What happened? Wolves, Winnie says simply. Pamela curses, already moving to bar the windows. How many? I don't know. Deborah leans against the wall, catching her breath. But they're hunting. Saphira emerges from the back room, her expression grave. I felt them too. Multiple packs. Coordinated. Who would send multiple packs? Mabel demands. Someone who wants to make sure the job gets done. Saphira's gray eyes find Deborah. They're not just looking anymore, they're closing in. Fear spikes through Deborah's chest. Her hands move protectively to her stomach. I need to leave. Now. Tonight. I'll go inland, away from the coast. You won't make it 10 miles, Saphira interrupts. You're too far along, too vulnerable. One hard run could trigger early labor. Then what do I do? Deborah's voice cracks. Wait here to be captured? Silence, because none of them have a good answer. The truth is brutal and simple. Deborah is trapped. Her body won't let her run fast enough or far enough anymore. The scent blockers are failing. The triplets make her too valuable to ignore and too dangerous to let live. There might be one option, Saphira says slowly. What option? You could reveal yourself, publicly. Make it known who you are and what you're carrying. That's suicide, Pamela snaps. Or it's insurance. Saphira's voice is measured. Right now, she's a secret. Secrets can disappear without consequences. But if the entire region knows the Alpha King's rejected mate is carrying triplets, killing her becomes politically complicated. Deborah's mind races. You want me to announce it? I want you to remove the secrecy that makes you easy to eliminate. Force them to deal with you openly. That makes her a target for every alpha who wants leverage against Frostkeep, Mabel argues. She's already a target, Saphira counters. At least this way. She controls the narrative. Deborah closes her eyes, trying to think through the fog of exhaustion and fear. Reveal herself. Stand in front of whatever remains of Darian's court and say, I'm alive. I'm pregnant. These children are his. The thought terrifies her. But maybe Saphira is right. Maybe staying hidden only works until it doesn't. Another howl echoes outside, closer than before. Deborah's decision crystallizes. If I'm going to do this, I need to do it properly, not scrambling and desperate. The front door explodes inward. Wood splinters, glass shatters. A massive wolf fills the doorway, its eyes glowing amber in the dim light. Behind it, 2 more wolves prowl into view, their movements coordinated and predatory. Deborah's wolf surges inside her, desperate to fight, but her pregnant body is too slow, too heavy, too vulnerable. Mabel and Pamela scramble backward. Winnie grabs a knife from the counter, useless against werewolves, but brave regardless. Saphira steps forward, her hands beginning to glow with something that isn't quite natural. The lead wolf shifts. A man stands there now, tall, scarred, dangerous. His eyes sweep the room before landing on Deborah. There you are, he says, voice rough. The little Omega, who's been causing so much trouble. Deborah recognizes him from court descriptions. Theron Cade, one of the rival alphas who's been pushing at Frostkeep's borders for years. What do you want? Her voice comes out steadier than she feels. You, alive, preferably. But my employer isn't too picky. Theron's smile is all teeth. You can come quietly, or we can make this difficult. Your choice. Who hired you? Does it matter? You've been useful, dead or alive, to more people than you can count. He takes a step closer. But those pups you're carrying? They're worth a fortune to the right buyer. Rage floods through Deborah. Hot, fierce, protective. Touch me. And what? Theron laughs. You'll fight? You can barely stand. He's right, and she hates it. But before he can move closer, Saphira's hands flash out. Light explodes, blinding, disorienting. The wolves yelp and stagger back. Run! Saphira shouts. Pamela grabs Deborah's arm, pulling her toward the back door. They stumble through the narrow hallway, out into the alley. Rain immediately drenches them. Thunder crashes overhead. Where do we go? Pamela gasps. Deborah's mind spins. The harbor is too exposed. The roads are patrolled. The forest. Another wolf appears at the alley entrance, cutting off their escape. They're surrounded. Deborah's heart hammers against her ribs. The triplets shift anxiously inside her, sensing her fear. Her wolf is snarling, desperate to protect them even though fighting is impossible. This is it. This is how it ends. Then a new howl splits the night. Different from the others. Deeper, more commanding. The sound of an alpha calling his pack to battle. The wolves surrounding them freeze, ears pricking. A massive black wolf with burning gold eyes crashes into the alley, moving with lethal speed and precision. It hits Theron Cade's wolf with the force of a battering ram, sending both creatures tumbling across cobblestones. More wolves pour into the alley, these ones wearing Frostkeep colors, fighting with coordinated ferocity. And then the black wolf shifts. Darian Voss stands in the rain, chest heaving, eyes glowing gold, completely and utterly focused on one thing. Her. Deborah. He breathes. She can't move, can't speak. can only stare at him soaked, furious, desperate, as 10 months of pain and longing and betrayal crash over her all at once. "Don't," she manages. "Don't touch me." But he's already moving, crossing the space between them in 3 strides. His hands reach for her shoulders, and she feels it, the bond, damaged but undeniable, flaring to life at his touch. "I'm not losing you again," he says, voice wrecked. "I'm not losing any of you." Behind him, the battle rages. Around them, rain falls like tears. Between them, 10 months of silence begs to be broken. And inside Deborah, 3 heartbeats pulse strong and steady, the future neither of them planned but both of them created. The abandoned lighthouse smells like salt and old wood and desperation. Darian half carries, half guides Deborah through the door, his pack securing the perimeter outside. She's shaking from cold or shock or fear. He can't tell. Maybe all 3. Her clothes are soaked through. Her face is pale. Her eyes won't quite meet his. But she's alive. She's here. She's real. "Sit down," he says, voice rougher than he intends. "You need to rest." "I need to." Deborah's words cut off as she gasps, hand flying to her stomach. Her face contorts in pain. Darian's heart stops. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Just another gasp. Just pressure. It's fine." "That doesn't look fine." "I said it's fine." Her voice sharpens, defensive. "Don't pretend you care now." The words hit, like claws. Darian's hands clench at his sides. His wolf whimpers, wounded, desperate to fix what it broke. "Deborah, no." She holds up a shaking hand. "No, you don't get to do this. You don't get to show up after 10 months and act concerned." "I am concerned. You're pregnant. You're in danger. You rejected me." Her voice cracks. "In front of everyone. You called me unsuitable. You announced your engagement to another woman the morning after you." She stops, throat working. Darian's chest feels like it's caving in. "I know." "You know?" Deborah laughs, and it sounds brittle and broken. "You know? That's it? That's all you have to say?" "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to explain why." Tears stream down her face, mixing with rain. "I want you to tell me why you touched me like I mattered, and then destroyed me like I didn't. I want you to tell me why I'm carrying your children and you didn't even know I existed anymore." Every word is a knife. Darian's hands shake. His wolf is howling inside him, begging him to reach for her, to hold her, to fix this somehow. But he doesn't know how. "I thought I was doing the right thing," he says quietly. "The kingdom needed." "I don't care about the kingdom." Her voice breaks completely. "I cared about you. I thought you cared about me." "I did. I do. You have a really terrible way of showing it." Silence falls, heavy and suffocating. Outside, thunder crashes. Inside, the space between them feels like an ocean neither knows how to cross. Darian moves slowly, carefully, like approaching a wounded animal. Deborah's hands move protectively over the swell. "Why?" "Because they're mine. Because I need—" His voice cracks. "Please." She stares at him for a long moment. Then, reluctantly, she nods. Darian kneels in front of her, his hands hovering just above her belly. "Can I?" Another nod. He places his palms flat against the fabric of her dress, and the world narrows to this single point of contact. 3 heartbeats pulse beneath his touch. Strong, steady, real. Darian's breath catches. His vision blurs. 10 months of denial and guilt and desperate longing crash over him all at once. 3, he whispers. "Yes. How long have you known?" "Since yesterday." His head snaps up. "Yesterday? You've been carrying them for months and didn't know?" "I thought it was one. I didn't—" Deborah's voice is defensive. "I didn't have access to healers. I've been hiding. Alone. Because of you." The accusation lands like it should. Darian's hands remain on her stomach, feeling the tiny movements beneath his palms. One of them kicks, and he nearly breaks. "I'm sorry," he says, and his voice is wrecked. "I'm so sorry. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to make it right. But I swear to you, Deborah, I will spend the rest of my life trying." "Why should I believe you?" "Because I can't breathe without you." The confession rips out of him. "Because I haven't slept since you left. Because every day for 10 months I felt like I'm missing half my soul. Because you're my mate, and I rejected you, and it's killing me." Deborah's breath hitches. "You chose the alliance. I was wrong. You called me unsuitable. I was a coward. You—" her voice breaks. "You made me feel disposable. You are anything but disposable. Darian's forehead drops to rest against her stomach, and he feels one of the pups shift beneath his touch. You are everything, and I destroyed us because I thought duty mattered more than love. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Tears fall hot and fast down Deborah's face. I hate you. I know. I wanted to die when you rejected me. I know. I still feel the bond. It won't let go. And I hate that too. I know. His hands tighten slightly, holding her like she might disappear. I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They stay like that, Darian kneeling, Deborah crying, 3 heartbeats connecting them in ways words can't. Finally, Deborah's hands move to his hair, fingers threading through wet strands. The touch is tentative, almost involuntary, like her body remembers him, even if her heart doesn't trust him. I don't know if I can forgive you, she whispers. I'm not asking you to. Not yet. Darian lifts his head, meeting her eyes. I'm just asking you to let me protect you. You and them, that's all. No expectations, no demands, just safety. And after, we figure out what comes next, together. Deborah's laugh is watery. You make it sound simple. It won't be simple. It'll be messy and complicated, and probably painful. His thumb traces a gentle circle on her stomach. But they deserve better than what we've given them so far, don't they? 3 kicks answer him in unison, and Deborah's breath catches. They're strong, Darian murmurs. Something like awe in his voice. All 3 of them. They have to be. Their father is an idiot. The words sting, but Darian accepts them. Yes, he is, and their mother is a disaster. Their mother is a survivor. Deborah's eyes fill with fresh tears. I don't feel like a survivor. I feel like I'm drowning. Then let me help. Please. Darian's voice drops to something raw and honest. I can't undo the past, but I can be here now. Let me be here now. Outside, wolves howl his pack, reporting all clear. Inside, Deborah stares at this man who broke her and created her greatest blessing in the same breath. Okay, she finally whispers. But if you hurt me again, I won't. You don't know that. Then I'll spend every day proving it. His hands remain on her stomach, protective and reverent. Starting now, the storm rages on, but inside the lighthouse, something fragile and cautious begins to take root. Not forgiveness, not yet, but maybe the possibility of it. And 3 tiny heartbeats pulse steadily on the future waiting to be written. Dawn breaks gray and cold over the harbor. Deborah wakes in the lighthouse to find Darian still there, sitting against the far wall, watching her with eyes that haven't slept. His pack is visible through the windows, wolves patrolling, securing, protecting. She sits up slowly, every muscle aching. The triplets shift inside her, waking with her, their movements stronger than yesterday. How long have you been watching me? Her voice is rough. All night. That's not creepy at all. I couldn't sleep. Darian's voice is quiet. I kept thinking you'd disappear again. Deborah's chest tightens. I'm not disappearing. Good. Silence stretches between them, not comfortable, but not hostile either. Just careful, tentative, like 2 people learning how to exist in the same space again. What happens now? Deborah asks finally. Now we figure out how to keep you safe. By hiding me at Frost Keep? Locking me in a tower somewhere? By making sure everyone knows you're under my protection. Darian stands, moving closer but not too close. No more secrets. No more hiding. You and those pups become publicly acknowledged. As what? Your rejected mate who won't go away? As my mate. Full stop. His voice is firm. The rejection was a mistake. I'm nullifying it. Deborah's breath catches. You can't just nullify a rejection. I'm the Alpha King. I can do whatever I want. His mouth quirks slightly. Within reason. What about Aveline? The engagement is over. I ended it before I came for you. She must be thrilled. She deserves better than what I offered her. Darian's expression is serious. And so do you. Deborah wants to argue, wants to push back, wants to protect herself from hoping again. But the triplets kick, and she's reminded that this isn't just about her anymore. I need guarantees, she says quietly. Not promises, actual guarantees. Name them. The triplets are recognized as legitimate heirs. No questions, no contests. Done. I have control over their upbringing. No political marriages, no forced alliances. Agreed. And her voice wavers. I need space, time. I can't just forgive you because it's convenient. I'm not asking you to. Darian's voice is gentle. I'm asking you to let me earn it. Deborah studies his face, this man who destroyed her, and is now kneeling metaphorically at her feet. He looks different than he did 10 months ago. Older, harder, haunted in ways that match her own. How do I know you won't change your mind again? She whispers. You don't. Not for sure. His honesty is brutal but appreciated. But I can tell you this. I felt what it was like to live without you. I felt the bond tearing itself apart because I tried to sever what couldn't be severed, and I would rather die than feel that again. That's dramatic. It's true. He takes a careful step closer. You don't have to love me. You don't have to trust me. But please, let me be there for them. For you, however you'll allow it. Deborah's hands rest on her stomach, feeling 3 sets of movements beneath her palms. These pups didn't ask to be caught in this mess. They didn't ask for parents who broke each other, but they're coming regardless, and they deserve better than what she and Darian have given them so far. Okay, she says finally, but we do this my way. Your way. Darian agrees immediately. I stay in my own quarters. You don't push. You don't demand. You prove yourself through actions, not words. Understood. And if you hurt me again, her voice hardens, I will take these pups and disappear so thoroughly you'll never find us. Do you understand? I understand. Deborah searches his face for deception, for manipulation, for anything that suggests this is another game. All she sees is exhaustion and desperate honesty. All right then. She pushes herself to her feet, accepting his offered hand for balance. Let's go face your kingdom and tell them their king is an idiot who rejected his mate and now has triplets coming. That's one way to phrase it. Do you have a better way? Not particularly. Despite everything, Deborah almost smiles. They leave the lighthouse together, not touching, not bonded in any way that feels comfortable yet, but walking side by side. The pack falls in around them, protective and watchful. The journey back to Frostkeep takes 3 days. 3 days of careful conversations and long silences. 3 days of Darian maintaining distance, while simultaneously being closer than he's been in 10 months. 3 days of the triplets growing more active, as if sensing the shift in their parents' dynamic. When the citadel appears on the horizon, Deborah's stomach clenches with anxiety. Ready? Darian asks quietly. No, me neither. They enter through the main gates. Word has already spread. Servants whisper, guards stare. Advisors gather with expressions ranging from shocked to calculating. Darian doesn't let her face them alone. He stands beside her in the throne hall, hand hovering near the small of her back without quite touching, as he addresses the assembled court. 10 months ago, I made a choice, he says, voice carrying through the chamber. I rejected my fated mate for political gain. I called her unsuitable. I drove her away. The hall is silent. I was wrong. Darian's voice doesn't waver. Deborah Voss is my mate. She is carrying my heirs, 3 of them. And anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me personally. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Eldon Gray steps forward. Your Majesty, the legal implications will be handled. Darian cuts him off. Deborah and the pups are under my personal protection. They will be recognized. They will be respected. And anyone who threatens them will answer to me. It's not a suggestion. It's an order. The hall erupts into quiet chaos, advisors conferring, alphas calculating, servants gossiping. Deborah stands there, feeling exposed and vulnerable and strangely powerful all at once. Because she's not alone anymore. She has allies now. Protection, recognition, and 3 pups inside her who kicked in unison when Darian called them his heirs. Later, in the quarters Darian arranged spacious, private, safe, Deborah stands at the window watching sunset paint the Varen territories in gold and orange. A knock at her door makes her turn. Come in. Darian enters, carrying a tray with tea and food. Lyra said you need to eat more. Lyra is very bossy. She's good at her job. He sets the tray down carefully. How are you feeling? Tired, overwhelmed, like I'm living in someone else's life. That makes 2 of us. Darian hesitates at the door. Is there anything you need? Deborah studies him, this alpha king who once shattered her and is now offering tea like a nervous suitor. Just space, she says gently. Time to figure out who I am now. Of course. He moves to leave, then pauses. Deborah? Yes. Thank you for giving me this chance. I know I don't deserve it. You don't, she agrees. But they do. Her hands rest on her stomach, and Darian's eyes follow the gesture. We'll figure it out, he says quietly. Somehow. After he leaves, Deborah returns to the window. The triplets shift inside her, strong and restless and alive. And for the first time in 10 months, she lets herself believe that maybe, just maybe, they'll all survive this. Maybe they'll even thrive. The story isn't over. It's only just beginning. 3 heartbeats pulse beneath her ribs. 3 futures wait to be born. 3 heirs to a kingdom that nearly lost them all. Outside, storm clouds gather. Inside, healing begins. And somewhere in the space between past pain and future hope, Deborah and Darian learn that broken things can be mended not easily, not perfectly, but carefully, with time and truth and 3 tiny reminders that love, even rejected, never truly dies. And that's where we'll pause for now. If you're hooked, hit that subscribe button for Ariel Romance Library, leave a like, and share this story. Now tell me, was Darian justified in rejecting Deborah for the kingdom's sake? Or was he just a coward hiding behind duty? Comment below, Team Darian or Team Deborah. Let's see who's right.